You want something badly. A goal, a relationship, a job, a creative project you can see perfectly in your mind. You think about it constantly. It keeps you up at night. You talk about it with friends. You make plans. You feel the pull of it every single day. And then, you get close. The opportunity appears. The path clears. The finish line becomes visible. You can almost touch what you've been chasing. And suddenly, your motivation disappears. Like someone flipped a switch. You feel bored, restless, detached, even irritated by the very thing you claim to want. And you wonder, why do I do this every time? What's wrong with me? Here's the truth. The answer isn't laziness. It's not lack of discipline. It's not even fear. At least, not entirely. It's how your brain is wired. Your brain doesn't reward achievement. It rewards pursuit. Let that sink in for a moment. Dopamine, the motivation chemical everyone talks about, doesn't spike when you cross the finish line. It spikes when you anticipate crossing it, when you imagine the outcome, when you're moving towards something, not holding it. That's why planning a trip feels more exciting than being on the trip. Imagining your dream life feels more energizing than living an ordinary Tuesday inside it. Starting a new project feels good, fresh, full of possibility, electric with potential. But finishing is quiet. There's no fanfare in your brain, no flood of feel-good chemicals, just the soft, anticlimactic sensation of, oh, it's done. And because your brain has already spent its reward currency during the chase, the actual accomplishment feels strangely empty. This isn't a flaw in you. It's a feature of human neurology. We evolved to seek, to hunt, to pursue. Our ancestors didn't survive because they celebrated the kill. They survived because they stayed hungry for the next one. So your brain is designed to keep you moving, not to let you rest. Here's the trap most people fall into. Without realizing it, making a decision feels like progress. The moment you decide to do something, to change your life, start the business, commit to the goal, your brain lights up. It feels like you've already accomplished something. And in a way, you have. You've created clarity. You've chosen a direction. So your brain releases the reward early. But here's the problem. Execution requires something completely different. Execution requires patience, showing up even when it's boring, uncertainty, continuing when you don't know if it'll work, sustained effort, doing the same unglamorous tasks again and again, long after the novelty fades, and all of that comes with far less chemical reward. So what happens? Motivation collapses, right when consistency is actually required. You've already gotten the dopamine hit from deciding. Your brain thinks the job is done. Everything after that moment, the daily grind, the repetition, the small, unglamorous steps, feels like extra work. And worse, it feels like work you're not being rewarded for. That's why so many people are incredible at starting things and terrible at finishing them. The brain doesn't distinguish between intention and action. It rewards both, but only one moves you forward. It feels personal, doesn't it? Like you're broken. Like there's something uniquely wrong with you. Like everyone else has the discipline gene, and you somehow missed it. But what's actually happening is this. Your brain thinks the job is already done. The reward was collected at the moment of clarity, the moment you saw the path, felt the excitement, made the plan. That was the peak. That was the drug. Everything after that feels like maintenance work. Cleanup, the boring part after the high, and your brain, wired for novelty and pursuit, starts scanning for the next thing, the next hit, the next goal that will give it that dopamine surge again. So you lose interest, not because the goal wasn't real, not because you didn't want it, but because your brain has already moved on before you even finished. This is why people jump from project to project, relationship to relationship, job to job, diet to diet. It's not commitment issues. It's a neurological mismatch between what feels rewarding and what actually creates results. You're not sabotaging yourself. You're just listening to a system that was never designed for long-term goals in a modern world. But here's where it gets deeper. Sometimes, loss of interest isn't just boredom. It's fear. Because finishing something means exposure. It means the end of potential and the beginning of reality. And reality can be judged. Think about it. As long as you're working on something, it's still perfect in your mind. It's still full of promise. You can still tell yourself, it's going to be great when it's done. But finishing means being seen, putting your work, your effort, your creation out into the world, being judged, facing feedback, criticism, indifference, or even success. You're not sure you deserve being responsible, owning the outcome, whatever it is, without the safety net of, I'm still working on it. And anticipation protects you from all of that. Staying in pursuit keeps you safe. It keeps you in the realm of imagination, where everything still works, where you're still the hero of a story that hasn't been tested yet. So your brain creates boredom as a defense. It makes you lose interest right before the stakes get real. It kills your motivation before you have to face the vulnerability of completion. And you interpret that as, I guess I didn't really want it. But you did. You just wanted the safety of the dream more than the risk of the reality. So here's what you need to understand. You didn't lose motivation. Your brain just prefers the promise of a future over the reality of sustained effort. It prefers the high of pursuit over the quiet dignity of follow-through. And once you see that, once you stop interpreting it as a personal failure and start recognizing it as a predictable pattern, everything changes. You stop waiting for motivation to carry you. You stop trusting the feeling of excitement as a signal that you're on the right path. And you start building systems instead. Systems that don't rely on how you feel. Systems that expect motivation to fade and plan for it. Systems that make execution automatic, even when your brain has moved on to the next shiny thing. Because motivation is a spark. But systems are the structure that keeps the fire burning long after the spark fades.